For me, my journey to space started rather early. I was very young when I looked up at the stars and I thought that this is very interesting. I maybe never thought that you could actually work with this, but then when I was in high school, then I found out that there was this program in Luleå where you could study space engineering, which I thought sounded amazing, so I applied and I got in and I never regretted it. I am working for the European Space Agency ESA. I am an experiment coordinator, and that means that I'm a bit coordinating between the scientists and the industry that will actually build these experiments and instruments. What I like is the variety, that there are so many different things you can do about space. I get to meet so many different kinds of people. I meet the politicians, I meet the scientists, I meet engineers, I meet people that work in the industry, and then I try to tie all this together and make sure that the money is spent on good experiments and instruments. I work now with an experiment called bioreactor, which is something that in the future will go to the space station to be tested. We're going to fly yeast cells and then we're going to stress them in microgravity and bring them down and see what effect this had on these cells. Now when we go to space, it all has to be automated and work by itself. And that is really the main challenge. And to make it safe, because it's going to fly on the space station where there are astronauts, so we cannot risk that there's any toxic substances leaking out of the experiment. There are so many things that have to work. They have to work by themselves, and we have no second try. So once we're done with the hardware, it has to work.
Main engine start. 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff of Discovery.
I had the privilege to be actually part of a launch. This was something amazing in the sense that you could really see something going into space, which is in the end what you work also now when I work with instruments, to have the feeling that it will go into space. Something that I touched, something I worked on is in space. That is just amazing. When we were studying in Kiruna, it was really rather intense because we were a small group and we got very close to one another, and you also get very close to the teachers, so it was always open doors. So you could always go in, you could ask your questions, and in the end I think you learn more than what's on the curriculum. During my studies we met a lot of different people also giving us lectures. There were people from ESA, there were people, scientists from a bit all over the world, and that already gave the flavor, and I really wanted to continue with this and work in an international environment, which I think I was very well prepared for. For me it was a challenge to live in Kiruna in one sense. I had never been that far up north before. I have so many great memories from the time in Luleå and also from the time in Kiruna. It was a time where I met a lot of friends, where I met friends for life, and where I had a lot of fun both studying and outside the studies.
For the students, I think it's good to be in an environment where you have real space flavor, where you can use all the equipments that are on the research institute, at the launch site for sounding rocket at Esrange, and these are really used by the students in their projects. I think that is unique, the closeness to a real environment where real stuff is done. If they can cope with the challenges living here and doing their education up here, they are also prepared for new environments all over the world. So I think it's a good education for young people just to be in an extreme environment.